Jonathan, my dear. I can never thank you enough.
Thank me? For what?
Come now, you know what I mean. I am... well, I'm just like you.
Have you no shame? Must I remind you of your ludicrous actions? Of the innocent men and women who died at your hands?
Shame is for mortals, Jonathan. I know it now, and you should too. We are something else. Something more.
How do you feel since you changed?
Absolutely fine. Did you know I can determine the health of every patient or nurse just by looking at him? Fascinating.
Have you taken a life yet, Edgar?
Don't you think that's a private matter? I would not ask you such an indiscreet question.
Do you feel the hunger?
Yes. It's very peculiar, not like mortal hunger at all. It's like I'm never sated. Fortunately, blood is no rare commodity at Pembroke.
Have you news of Geoffrey McCullum? I'm sure both of you would have quite an interesting discussion after recent events.
He left the hospital without being treated for the severe beating you gave him. We'll meet again soon enough.
Do you not think he will kill you where you stand?
Funny you should mention it. I asked him once what he would do if I were a vampire. He said he would give me an hour for old time's sake.
What will you do now that you are immortal?
Experiment, my dear colleague. I have an eternity to make scientific progress. I could be the only scientist able to undertake extreme experiments upon himself.
My God, Edgar! Did you learn nothing from your forays into folly?
I have, I swear. No more experiments on mortals. See? I said mortals. How quickly the mind adapts!
What kind of experiments?
Who knows? Nervous shock, brain damage, pain and recovery. There's almost no limit to what my body can now endure. I could be the next Henry Head.
Will you continue as Pembroke's administrator?
Of course. I can help more than ever. And since I'm already dead, I can't get sick.
Are you not afraid Priwen will find you? Next time, they will do more than abduct and torture you.
I remain a man of peace. If things were to go awry, I would flee rather than slice them up as you would, my friend.
Have you seen Elizabeth? Has she passed this way since you returned?
No. And I'm terrified to see her again. I really am, Jonathan. She could very well tear me to pieces for what I did.
Goodbye. Do you need medical...
Yeah, I do. If you can throw in some drugs, I can find use for that too.
So you can sell them on the black market? Sorry. I'll only provide you with exactly what you need.
Fair enough, Dr. Reed.
Have you heard...
He's been brutally murdered.
What have you been doing since you left the gang?
Basically, I move crates from one place to another while some arsehole shouts at me.
No regrets about your previous life?
No. Of course I miss my sweet Queen of the Docks. But after she died, I realized Edwina was the only reason I still hung about with the boys.
So you've become a decent citizen with an honest job?
Yeah. Edwina would have slapped me one and called me a coward if she'd seen me like this.
On the contrary. Perhaps it's your most courageous move.
That's what I tell myself each time I'm about to quit my job.
How are
Not good. Without Edwina's brain, the wet boot boys will quickly turn into a bunch of useless thugs. We don't need that.
Maybe the gang will just disappear. That would be a good thing.
You think like an outsider. If the wet boots disappear, another gang will take their place. This is the docks. Things don't change down here.
You really believe that no other leader could take charge of the gang?
Edwina was smart and brave. Yeah, more than I'll ever be. She saw life as it is. Cruel, without pity. She also knew the end was coming.
I'll leave... Welcome.
I hope I live long enough to...
Do you need any...
Can't be...
Indeed.
Oh, thank you.
Are you...
It makes no sense.
Good. Good evening.
Good evening.
Do you need my...
Unfortunately.
Nobody is immune to...
Well, thank you, Doctor.
Good.
Talk to me.
Stupid brat is gone. Good. I was tired of the maggot always hanging around our house anyway.
My God, Seymour. Have you hurt the boy?
Of course not. Why do you care so much about that cockroach? Do I need to talk to rats to get some attention too?
Don't be so childish. You know I love you, Seymour.
But you worry more about that stupid maggot.
Don't speak about him that way. Rufus has always been the kindest boy.
Yeah? Unlike your real son, right?
Evening.
Evening, Mr. Reed.
Heard anything about Sean Hampton's shelter lately?
Not since he bought it. Such a sad story.
Are you worried about the sanitary situation?
I never really felt safe in this town anyway. Now's the first time that everyone seems to feel the same way as me.
Is anything worrying you right now?
Gunshots? I hear them every night. Who's firing? Who are they shooting at? That's what's scary.
Rufus, tell me what you really think about Seymour Fishburne.
Seymour, he just scares me. A lot. Actually, he scares many people round here, even big fellows.
You mean his brutality is infamous, even...
Yes, sir.
The patience of a mother for her child knows no limits.
You're right. And I certainly didn't mean any disrespect to the
So long. Good evening, Mr. Fishburne.
Yeah.
Seymour, why are you scaring young Rufus?
I don't like his act to gain me mother's trust. I don't like it at all. Little bugger is like a fly around shit.
That's a very cynical point of view. There appears to be little room for kindness in your heart.
I don't believe in kindness nor innocence, sir. The boy is either a fool or a hypocrite who hides his hand well.
you tricked me good, Doctor. Tell me, who will take the blame for your murders now that I'm dead?
Good evening, Miss...
Of course. I can't remember the last time I had a good sleep. Nothing to worry.
You've explained so much.
Good evening.
Evening, Mr. Reed.
You seem happier than before.
I live with Mrs. Fishburne now, in her house. I have a bed and everything.
Are you worried?
I never really felt safe.
Is anything worrying?
Gunshots?
Tell me your feelings about Seymour's death, Rufus.
I am sad for Mrs. Fishburne, not for her dead son. I was afraid of him and his threats. I don't think a lot of people will miss him.
So how is your new life going?
Good. I have a roof over my head and warm meals. Mrs. Fishburne is the best. But she's so sad. I hear her crying at night.
Even if she did take you in, Mrs. Fishburne lost her son, who she loved very much.
I know, but it makes me feel funny. I should feel bad for being here after Seymour died, not happy.
Seymour's death has nothing to do with you, Rufus. You have every right to be happy.
Mrs. Fishburne has been like a mother to me, and it's my turn to help her the best I can.
So long. Good evening, Mrs. Fishburne. May I come in, please?
Of course. I'm not sure the epidemic is what worries people.
I'm so sorry about your loss, Mrs. Fishburne.
Thank you, Dr. Reed. Could you check Rufus's health for me, please? I've been taking care of this young nipper since my poor Seymour died.
Very well. But why so nervous?
Even if he lives with me now, Rufus still spends too much time outside. He grew up in the streets, you see, and he's kept his old habits.
So, you live here with Rufus now? And how is everything?
Yeah. We both had our share of tragedy, but I suppose it's a relief not to be alone in life.
Did Rufus talk to you about his past?
I knew the boy had a hard time in the streets, but I had no idea how miserable he really was. And I suspect he won't tell me all that he remembers.
I'd like to know more about your son's death, Stella.
I was so afraid to see Seymour arrested and executed that I never thought about him being murdered.
As sad as his fate may have been, at least you'll avoid the shame of a trial.
Justice or vengeance? Street justice is not right.
In the end, Seymour avoided being judged for what he did. Does that not disturb you, Stella?
For months, my greatest fear was to see my son being arrested and hanged. Now that he's dead, no one will ever know.
Do you believe your son could have avoided being caught forever?
I have no idea. Sometimes I felt like he was becoming more and more careless. Perhaps he wanted to be caught.
Goodbye, Miss...
Back of that head, sir. Gentlemen are easy targets in these parts.
Dr. Reed.
Have you recently...
Come on. The most ruthless tycoon of England dies and gives his fortune to the poor. The man has been tricked.
What are you investigating, exactly?
Well, my 2 missing persons cases have been solved. By you, it seems. Are you just that lucky? Or do you know something I don't?
I was lucky enough to find them both while conducting my investigation in this part of town.
Why do I still have the feeling that you're hiding something? What about the abductor? Was it the same person?
I don't think so. You had better interview Miss Teasdale and Mr. Kimura on that matter. All I did was to lead them safely home. Is it true you were dropped in rank? Tell me about it.
Yes, it is. I made a terrible mistake. I deserved it. Sometimes I think I should have resigned.
So why are you still working here?
Because I'm a damn fine copper. I just don't want to have someone innocent hung again by mistake because of me.
The death penalty can sometimes be appropriate.
Those are strange, cold words coming from a doctor who claims to take every risk to save lives on these dangerous streets.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Doc.
Good evening.
You know,
What is...
rumor is he gave most of his...
Carol's gratitude is exemplary. She seems determined never to leave you.
I'm taking care of my daughter as well as I can. It's not always easy, but she's the best gift life gave me.
But she'll probably leave you someday to live her own life. Will that be difficult for you?
Why would she leave? Children sometimes stay with their parents until the end, for they know no one else will love them as much.
May I look at...
It's always a... Dr. Reed, I am glad to see you again.
Whispers of a son. Good evening.
Can you read...
Put the money on the...
Here.
The Joker. A woman bent to obey and debase herself. A cruel gaze in the dark. A monster laughing at you.
Can you read the...
Put the money...
Here is
The snake. A bitter woman, smiling as she pours poison in your cup. A shaming betrayal. Hate.
Can you read the...
Put the money on the...
Here.
The hunter. A good heart in disguise. A liar willing to help for real. An armed man unable to strike.
Can you read...
Put the money...
Here.
The hunter.
Can you read...
Put the money on...
Here.
The hunter.
Goodbye.
I read... Perhaps London will survive the epidemic.